Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of MBTV News. This is a regular roundup of what's sort of new in the world of virtual worlds and immersive spaces online, and all the haptics that go with it, and interfaces and everything else. We don't indulge too much in Helmetville. We are very skeptical of the various uses of the M word. We're not talking about my mouth, we're talking about another M word. I will be mum. I will say mum on that one. And yeah, you'll get the idea as we go along. Anyway, my name is Mal Burns, and I'm joined in the studio here by the man who fiddles with all the knobs, in other words, changes audio, video, streams. He fiddles with all the input output stuff. So James Atlloud, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Mal. It's been a week for me. I had phone battery repairs. I was talking to you, and I went for
Yeah.
a day or two without a mobile device, and that was terrifying.
Ooh.
I didn't know what was happening. I felt disconnected and broken
We are
somehow.
We're like that now. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
oddly enough, it's when my desktops and pads and stuff around the house go down that I get panicked.
yeah.
Because I've actually been known to go out to shops or something and actually forget my phone. It's not something I obviously somebody will try and ring me when I'm out, but
Mm-hmm.
to be clear,
Right.
it's not top of my priorities. But I can see that many more people are mobile a lot
Right.
and don't need their phone really.
Yeah. So
So
despite the
yeah.
advice of Maria Korolov, who always said don't get an implant, I think I need that implant.
Ah.
I think I need my internet in my head.
Yeah. Well, then, no, I think that's a reasonable suggestion. The only thing is you don't want Maria to install it for you.
Right.
She doesn't listen to this show anymore, so never got time, she says.
That's right.
Right.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah, like his story. Okay, well we'll get on with the show. My name, as I said, is Mal Burns. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Mal Burns, Malburns. Two words squashed into one, as you probably gathered. And I post links throughout the week there, and mostly links to important articles, important news, and stuff like that. Far more links, in fact, than I can possibly cover on this show. So this show is really about the highlights from the week gone by, and that week is the week ending
Mm-hmm.
the 9th of April, which is today. Coincidentally, wonder how that worked itself out. I don't know. But it's now the 9th of April, and this program is about the highlights of the week ending the 9th of April, with a few exceptions. We all know about Scar Ghost, we all know
Mm-hmm.
about Voices of VR, etc. Anyway, let's get on with some of it. I'm going to start with a couple of screens that I have up on the screen now, as well as Twitter. I do have a feed at Metaworld at mastodon.social. And you don't need to worry about this unless you know it already, because all the posts that you see that I've got up here automatically get relayed to Twitter for me anyway. So, as long as you follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/malbones, you will get these anyway. But I sometimes forget them because, and I used to have them at the end of the show, so I'm starting with them these days. Latest edition of This Week in Exiles podcast with Charlie Feen, Ted Shilowitz, and Robbie Abowitz. That came yesterday. It always comes odd days actually to me. And yeah, I don't think yeah, their guest was James Kaplan, the CEO of Meet Kai, whatever Meet Kai be. Anyway, you can play it from my Mastodon feed. You can play it in line at Twitter, or indeed you can just click on the YouTube link and go to YouTube and play it or save it there, whatever you want to do. Right, just before that, we had again this weekend F Realities latest edition. You'll probably recognise Tim Cook there. They are talking about Apple's headset dreams and an amusement expo. They're more concerned with games and the interfacing stuff for that, but obviously, a headset is as valuable for gaming as it is for virtual worlds and other kinds of VR. Um, so what I call helmet land really, because most of them are slightly more like helmets than headsets. But we'll see what Apple come up with. That's for sure. Right. Um, we also had these are particular. This is a talk from South by Southwest the other week. They're finally putting their main features up. This is about building a sustainable economy in the metaverse, and I can't remember who the various people they pulled in here are. They're not extra familiar household names to me, but they were very interesting talks, the ones I've chosen. Um, this was another one at South by Southwest, how AI and the metaverse will shape society. That was looking at some rather interesting things. So I'll have more on the AI thing in a little bit. Um, the ultimate potential of VR, promises and perils, again, South by Southwest. And if you think that chap up there looks familiar, his name is Ken Bai. He's behind Voices of VR, which we'll come to in a couple of seconds anyway. Further down from this, building an open metaverse, again, South by Southwest. And basically, it's not just that chap, there's a general panel discussion there, if I remember rightly, on sort of building an open metaverse. And going down, biophilic metaverse. Well, I don't know. I don't know what biophilia is. I was trying to read up on it here, the biophilia movement, and Amelia Kalman, our futurist friend, has got something to say for it. I think it's on another clip. Whether we're showing it today, I'm not sure. But again, rather curious, interesting sort of YouTube thing. All the ones I post here are fairly long form. In other words, they're 30 minutes or more. They're not ones that I can show you extracts of here easily. So I put them in this blog. XR News, of course, have their weekly thing. I can show you them here, as you can see, but it's 48 minutes, so I'm not going to let it play for long. Um, at least it allows me to tell you how long it was.
And the thing that I would say is that Meta facing its problems is not to do with the metaverse.
Right, I think they're talking about something called Meta there. I wish they wouldn't use these four-letter words, you know, it's really a bit much. Right, okay, you know what I've gone and done? I have completely got to the wrong page here. Right, okay, that's the page I want, and I've obviously messed up here completely. Okay, yeah, I think there's another version of Voices VR there. Sorry, Week in XR there from early in the week from Mr. Fink. Our favourite one, or especially James's favourite, because he always has comments. Upload VR is still not back, I'm afraid. Uh,
No. Yeah, I
they
don't know
did have,
why.
yeah, they did. Yeah, I didn't even see a notice saying we're not doing it this week. I
Okay.
know last
Okay.
week they actually posted a thing saying they'll be back whenever, but maybe somebody's a bit more ill, or maybe their servers have crashed, or who knows? Who
Who
knows?
knows,
But
right?
sadly not. Okay, well, I've got the web pages open, as it were. I'm going to switch to Voices of VR. I mean, I think every other Twitter feed, Twitter post of mine during the week is yet another Voices of VR. He's gone over time. He's currently up to number 1208, which was on the 3rd of April. It's a few days ago now. But as you'll see as I go down, they're all in the same 2 days, I think. It's all stuff that he recorded at South by Southwest or some other things. So he's got an immersive recap there, temporal world about blending touch and sound. And I'm not going to read these out for you. You can see as I'm scrolling what the basic themes are. You can find all this at voicesofvr.com. This is the page I'm on, and I'm obviously looking at all the latest ones. And all still dated April 3rd. But as you can see, it's a good site. They're always great, these talks and interviews, and you know, it's a good site. As you can see, you can scan them fairly easily to find out what's new. Some weeks there's none, or just maybe one or two. But he did warn. He did warn that there's a lot were coming. So I think the 1190s are all still South by Southwest. Let's just see. You can see the variety of these interviews and from the illustrations that accompany them. You know, some are very cartoony, some are sort of serious looking. And April 3rd, Last Moments of Alt Space VR. That's yeah. Again, April 3rd. He didn't get round to that this week. So, you know, well, South by Southwest was a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of these other things. Here we are, April 2nd. So this was Tuesday, was it? The day before April 3rd, whenever it was. And this is the first batch that came up. And as you can see, there he is at South by Southwest. He's actually talking with HTC about their enterprise VR strategy. Chinese ecosystem, babbling, yeah, the battle for your brain. Um, Organic views of reality. Look at this lot. Look at this lot. I could do a show just reading these lot out, couldn't I? So I think we're near the end now. It's my duty to bring you all the pictures to show you the variety that's there. But I'm sure you can find your way to voicesofvr.com yourself. And March the 7th, so we're on the old stuff there. Okay, so that was my way of getting some stuff out the way quick. And then I'm going to go to another page. This page is called the XR Wheat Peak, and it comes to us courtesy of Anthony Vitillo, who is also known as, wait for the music first today, I think. Sound like Jimmy Savile, don't I? Right, I better not. No, not him. Right, okay. Yes, indeed. He's also known as the Scarghost, SKARREDGHOST.com is the name of his site. And this Wheat Peak actually would have come up on, well, Tuesday this week. It's always Monday or Tuesday. It's a regular weekly post at the beginning of the week. He's actually looking back on the week before. So what he's covering here is what happened, not last week for us, but the week before that. More rumours about Apple, though they are having an event in a couple of months, which sounds like it will possibly be rumoured to be sort of important. I'm not saying anything until it happens. Right, newsworthy of a mention. This is Rokid's thing. Disney have eliminated its metaverse division. I think this is all stuff we mentioned one way or another last week. Not all of it, I'm sure, but yeah, and yeah. It's a good little roundup, always the case from Scarghost. We have another thing from him just down the list a little bit here. So let's remove that from my list. At the same time, near the beginning of the week, xrtoday.com, xrtoday.com. They have their weekly roundup at the beginning of the week. So the latest big news on Meta, Silicon Valley Bank, House of Blueberry, and AR, VR upskilling. I almost said upscaling, but upskilling. Oh, they're really making words these days, don't they? I'm sure that wasn't in the dictionary when I was a kid.
I don't think so.
Upskilling. I've heard of upskirting, but upskilling? No.
No.
Shouldn't have said that, should I? Right. Okay. Sounds a bit risque. Okay. Okay. It's a big roundup. Oh, actually, of course, the video version of that, which is largely advertising, was actually in my thing at Mastodon at the beginning. So we've sort of covered that already in a different department, as it were. Right, moving to arpost.co, arpost.co, no com, just co. Look at AR and VR content creation platform Vector integrates Ultra Leap's hand tracking. Now, I don't know, you guys probably remember Leap Motion and whatever, and that was sort of integrated with, well, it became Ultra Leap when it was integrated with some, I forget who they integrated with now. Oh, yeah, Ultra Haptics and Leap Motion. They joined together in 2019. Anyway, they've a content creation platform, Vector, has integrated Ultra Leap's hand tracking, which basically means if you're authoring a virtual world or something similar, all the tools in your authoring software are there for you to make the connections, the wiring, as it were, to Ultra Leap hand tracking technologies, and presumably Leap Motion too. That is now a very early sort of incarnation of the same technology. And yep, you can get their hand tracking platform, you can download it, etc., etc. So a bit of rather techie sort of thing there for developers and stuff. Right, I'll remove that one. Okay, Sony have a new 3D display that doesn't need any glasses, let alone goggles, or let alone a headset, or let alone a helmet even. You don't need any of them. Sony's got another idea up their sleeve. I must say this looks cute. It's hard to see. The box itself here is a 3D box, if you see what I mean, and the monitor is at a 45-degree angle. So that's the front and bottom, and that's up and that's back, and then that's the rear. So the screen, it's like an iPad almost tilted in a box at 45 degrees, and apparently bits pop out at you, so you actually start seeing this sort of thing in 3D. That's all very good. That looks like a sort of a camera shot that I might take of a landscape and pan around and stuff, and it might look all very nice. But whether it's functional when you actually go down to Earth, or virtual Earth at least, and try walking around with an avatar, that I think might be a bit more awkward. Clearly, they're showing it off as a sort of like Google Earth type viewing thing. Anyway, it's a growing lineup of spatial reality displays, and Sony are pretty big brand, you know. They've over the years, they invented PlayStation, which was ahead of its time really before everybody else copied them, and they don't make many goofs, so presumably that's a better idea of what it looks like. It's not in a box this time; it's on a stand, but you can only imagine how that is being seen in 3D from a photograph. It's about like holograms, where you put a light on them and they jump out from the wall. But if you ever try photographing that, it doesn't work. It needs your eye and the light to work. There's no way a camera can capture the idea of the simple picture of a rose popping out of the hologram. Anyway, but everything is in flux these days. So you'll find that one at vrscout.com, vrscout.com. All about Sony's no glasses needed bit. Right, vrscout.com again. This one is how VR technology can help stop wildfires. Well, if you live in California especially, I don't think there's any going on at the moment, but I know not so long ago you were having a hell of a time with these things. Apparently, this isn't so much flight simulation, although it sounds like it at first. But they're actually training training helicopter pilots, plane pilots, and things. And I guess it's got some kind of AI for aerial firefighting training services. So it's not really about flying; it's about the various options available for I don't know, deploying water, deploying other things, and targeting the specific areas in a fire where you'll have the maximum result in trying to put it out, as opposed to just splashing water over everything. I'm oversimplifying because I'm flippant, aren't I? But I think you get the idea there. So Intellic Technologies, and they've got an official release on all that. And so I think all we need now is the same version for flooding. Basically, the world is falling apart, so we better train our helicopter pilots to fix it. Can they? I don't know, but they can help at least. Okay, so that was at vrscout.com again. And can't think what this is. It's at Forbes.com. Gosh golly. Well-known site, Forbes, of course, FORBES.com. This is the point where I will remind you that you can follow these links at twitter.com/Malburns, MALBURNS. The reason I say that is that if you simply go to Forbes.com, FORBES.com, you are not going to land on this page. You're going to land on a big page, and you may have to click on another big page and another big page before you can sort of drill your way down to this article. Whereas if you click on my link on Twitter, lo and behold, you go straight there. Yeah, I have discovered the faster than light travel, you see. The other people haven't, including their own home pages. So,
All right.
whoosh. You get there straight away. Very good. Okay, so this is Charlie Fink's Roundup again, although this, of course, is just yesterday, or day before anyway, end of the week Roundup, as opposed to beginning. He's predicting more on Tim Cook. We do know Cook is giving a keynote address on September 7th. September 7th when that comes. But I think everything else here is pretty much rumour. Although I know it is said that various people on the board and stuff have already seen the glasses, as they're being called. But I love that. Where is it? The launch of the annual developers on June the 5th. Yeah, oh yeah, they might launch something on June the 5th. Uh, it's getting to be like CNN commentators narrating the movement of the Trump motorcade. I put all these stories at the bottom of this column in their own section called Bobbing for Apples, which sounds terribly unsanitary when you say it today.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we're at the bottom of the page. We will get to bobbing for apples, but we're a bit further away from there. Some more glasses from a German technology here, QQ, led by Sharp anyway. Found quite a lot of stuff here on that. Styly claims to be a real metaverse platform. All these, you can tell from the illustrations and stuff, they're geared to a younger generation, I think, and fashion, music, art. They don't say fashion actually, but I would imagine that should say fashion, music, and no, yeah. I don't know about sports are big. I don't know. Anyway, Psychic VR Lab Co. So he's got a few little exclusives there. Some dancers in VR chat. Gosh golly, and yeah. Okay, code. He did a review of Fatboy Slim's Eat, Sleep, Repeat business. Magic mirrors at Hilfiger stores in London, Milan, and somewhere else, which didn't get through. And you can try on your clothes basically at Tony Hilfiger stores, including the ones here in London, and in Milan and in Berlin. Whether it's a shop I would ever go to, I don't know, but it's always good to know I can try it on in some extended way. Right. American teens aren't very excited about virtuality. Only 4% use it. Well, daily. Only 29% even own a device. So, but I presume when you talk about device, they mean, a helmet type device, whereas 87% of them own iPhones. iPhone specifically is interesting. But of course, an iPhone, virtuality is on an iPhone too. You don't need to have a helmet to, there's plenty of virtuality things that are experiences, that are 3D experiences that you can view via a 2D screen. More new loops. Yeah, that's a good one. This is for surgeons and dentists, though. It actually looks like the stuff they wear already, but it's presumably got an augmented add on to it. It's a longish blog this week for Patillo. Not sorry for Charlie Fink. Don't know who I'm looking at anymore, do I? What's he doing? Praying? A spokesman for Tim Cook said he's kind of hoping this summer's going to be okay. Gosh, golly. Right, okay, I'm going to put that one away. Enough of that. Right, I told you there's another visit to the Skull Ghost here, so cue the music again. Now, this is odd, right? Scarghost.com, SKARREDGHOSD.com. Antonio Patillo is the name of the writer, who's also known as the Skull Ghost, except apparently he revealed last week on April the 1st that the Skull Ghost has actually been an AI all along. But apparently that's gone into reverse again, and he's back and isn't an AI anymore. So go figure. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what he was thinking when he posted this one, but he's gone away with words. You got to say that VR is dead. The metaverse is dead, and then maybe. Well, I suppose that's one getting a bit of traction for a blog. Here we go again. A few days ago, I was reading blah blah blah, the autumn of VR. This is one of his talks, really, I suppose. It's not a news item about anything particular, and it's not even a roundup of the week's news. It's just a general sort of thing of Tony Pitillo talking to you as the AI known as the Skull Ghost. It doesn't exist, if you see what I mean, but he appears to have written this before he vanished. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about, do I? TheSkullGhost.com, of course, for that article. And the VR is dead, the metaverse is dead. Maybe, but only maybe. I'm glad he put the last word in. Right, Engadget.com. Researchers have built sonar glasses that track facial movements for silent communication. Yes. do you wish to silently communicate with that chap? Well, you can. If you get these research glasses, it's Cornell University. They developed something called sonar glasses that hear you without speaking. The eyeglass attachment uses tiny microphones and speakers to read the words you mouth as you silently command it to pause or skip a music track. Enter a passcode without touching your phone or work on computer-aided design models without a keyboard. Um, well, they think of anything these days, don't they? Okay. This is actually interfacing. It's pretty damn smart. So it sounds like the sort of thing where there's got to be AI involved, but they don't actually mention it. So anyway, it's researchers at Cornell doing that. So I will dispose of that, and that is actually my last web page for this week. But I got a few things that sort of tie into that now, and let me see. Oh, I've got rather a lot of time today to give you maybe catch up on some of the stuff we didn't get to before. Talking of AI, right? I think this is actually a 5 minute clip, but this is literally a couple of days old. I think this is kind of interesting and sort of worthy of thought with our, it's close to VR and metaverse and all that stuff.
In this century, probably, we will be building this hugely consequential thing, which is the first general intelligence that will be smarter than humans. This involves an enormous responsibility. This is like maybe the most important thing that our species will ever have done on this planet, giving birth to this new level of intellect. I'm Nick Bostrom. I'm a professor at Oxford University, where I run the Future of Humanity Institute, with the unusual mandate of trying to think carefully about the really big picture questions for humanity and the future of Earth originating intelligent life. AI has been a big focus of mine really since my teenage years. It always seemed that if you look around and ask what accounts for why the world is the way it is, our human world, like a lot of it is because we humans have made it so. We have invented all kinds of technologies. And so all these things, whether it's jet planes or art or political systems, have come into the world through the birth canal of the human brain. And that immediately made it plausible to me that if you could change that channel, creating artificial brains, then you would change the thing that is changing the world. I think we have this notion of what's smart and what's dumb, whereas I think there is actually a huge amount of space above us between our level of intelligence and God. And once you go a little bit beyond human, then you get this feedback loop where the brains doing the AI research will become AIs themselves. Therefore, I think there is a significant chance that we'll have an intelligence explosion. So that within a short period of time, we go from something that was only moderately affecting the world to something that completely transforms the world. All the things that we could imagine human intelligence being useful for, which is pretty much everything. Artificial intelligence could be useful for as well if it just became, more advanced. Whether it's like diseases or pollution or poverty, we would have vastly better tools for dealing with. If you had super intelligence, you could help develop better clean energy technologies or medicines. So it does look to me like all the plausible paths to a really great future involve the development of machine superintelligence at some point. There are, I think, existential risks connected with the transition to the machine intelligence era, the most obvious being the possibility of unaligned superintelligence that then overwrites the Earth human civilization with its own value structures. Another big class of failures would be if this technology were used for destructive purposes. Then I think there is a third dimension that has received less attention so far, which is how good the outcome is for the AIs themselves. If we're going to construct digital minds that are maybe conscious or have moral status of various degrees, then how can we ensure that they are treated well? If you think about it, most of us would acknowledge that various non-human animals have degrees of moral status, even something as simple as a humble lab mouse. At that point, it becomes an active question of whether we have obligations to the AIs, not just make sure we don't misuse AIs against one another or protect ourselves from the AI, but also make sure that we do what we ought to do with respect to the AIs. And if we succeed at that and things go well, then we could imagine living lives way beyond anything that is possible now. This is why there has been so much interest in AI in recent years, because it does look like it could be this fulcrum on which the future depends. So on the one hand, it does look from this kind of slightly abstract point of view that we might develop, in the not too distant future, greater than human AI, and it would change everything. On the other hand, it seems kind of rather incredible that this world that we've known for our whole lives, that there would be a plausible scenario in which that changes radically in our lifetime. And we become, I don't know, some sort of semi-immortal uploaded creatures with Jupiter-sized minds. Like, to actually take that seriously, like, it seems to go against day-to-day lived experience. So, keeping both of those in mind creates this kind of interesting tension between two different ways of thinking about the world. I think rather than just eliminate one of them, just keep them both there and struggle with that tension.
Get smarter, faster with videos from the world's biggest thinkers. To learn even more from the world's biggest thinkers, get Big Think Plus for your business.
So, as you can see, Big Think. I missed it at the beginning, but I did have a picture here that I thought was rather a good one. The top's got a bit cropped off here, but basically it says AI is the most awesome force the planet's ever seen, but you wield it like a kid that's found his dad's gun. You developers are so preoccupied with whether or not you could, you didn't stop to think if you should. That's a movie picture from somewhere, but the quote's quite good. And this was an appropriate quote earlier in the week, wasn't it? There's a weather forecast. Get it?
It is. Yeah.
Yes, you get it. Fair enough. Right, back to the clips of our interest, so to me. Right, I can't remember. No, I don't want to play the big. Okay, this one's right. The first one here is another advanced look at the All conference is coming out shortly, so this is a bit of an advanced PR for it, and.
This is the place we meet our industry neighbors. This is the place we meet the inspiration. We can find new partners, clients, and this is something I never miss since 2016.
It's been a really fruitful show for us in that sense. We've met people that we've employed, we've met companies that we've partnered with, and we've met some big technology providers that maybe we wouldn't have been on their radar, especially in our early days, without having a showcase like this.
AWE for me, it's about the partnerships, it's about relationships and being together in this, When we have these events all the time and we can meet at least twice a year, that is the consistency in these relationships, in these friendships, in these connections. And this is the biggest takeaway for me, because not the selling points, not the showcasing your product, but the relationships with people, that is what matters in the end of the day.
It's been fantastic for us to come here and meet different people. As you said, great business leads. There has been a few for us, which is fantastic.
It's been a really positive experience. As a developer advocate, my job is very simple. It's to help that developer succeed with our product. So that comes to me handing out a card, giving them some more information, pointing them to our documentation, explaining a little more. All of those sorts of conversations only happen in real life a lot of times. So it's really super awesome to be here.
Aside from, the great setup, the staff, all the friendly people, all the events that they set up afterwards I thought were great. Right? All the after parties, that's where you make those meaningful, lasting connections, where you find out what somebody's really all about, right? We can sit and we can talk in booths all day, but all these after parties, everything else that they've set up, has been a great way to really get to meet people and learn more about their companies.
We have already made some really good connections with different kind of startup founders. It's really amazing for us being here, and it's really getting us really good results.
As a startup, of course, it's like a spotlight exposure that you should definitely have if you're doing XR.
We forget the value of really just being able to speak to someone face to face. So that's been the biggest value, making connections and getting to show people what Game Driver is really all about. That's been super valuable, super fun.
Next up, we got a roundup from the Game Developers Conference, GDC, and this one's actually entitled A Bridge to the Metaverse.
Go back. We're developing games that interact with our actual world. You're actually like living the game.
Does it make people feel like they're flying? Sometimes they're like, oh, but I'm actually scared of heights.
We're using a motion capture system so that you have the most realistic movement possible.
You create a whole library of movement for the avatars in the game.
Photorealistic digital humans in your game or experience.
This revolution is happening right now.
The Game Developers Conference is back with a packed convention hall and some of the big names in the game world that weren't here last year. For developers, it's a chance to learn about the latest tools for building virtual worlds and how to build bridges to get there from this world.
In the beginning, games looked like this.
It was the golden age.
There was the Oregon Trail, Nintendo, and Super Nintendo.
We thought these graphics looked like real life.
Now those games are museum pieces, literally.
From 84, that's the same year I was born.
Rob Curl is the historian for Oakland's Museum of Art and Digital Entertainment.
We hope to kind of inspire that next generation by helping them look back in a way that's useful.
And that's why he's here, showing off these slices of history at a conference about gaming's future.
People had to be creative in a different way when they were making games for these older systems.
Back in the day, you couldn't just pick up an instrument to make music for a video game, but now...
We showed up and we're playing music.
A jam session in the middle of the conference floor could inspire the soundtrack for a new virtual adventure.
I've never met any of them before, but we decided to start playing, and it's really made my whole week so far, honestly. There's nothing I'd rather be doing.
Transporting the sounds of the analog world into the digital world. And the movements, too, with high-speed infrared cameras.
To measure their position in 3D in real time so that we can capture their exact movements.
Building virtual characters that move like humans, because, in a way, they are.
We would then be able to get pro-level skaters to have their own signature tricks within the game.
Not just skaters, but dancers. In this hip-hop performance about two brothers who build video games.
It just started as, hey, we should put a video game in the show. That would be interesting, creative storytelling. And then it was like, no, we should actually make a real game.
In fact, they've made 2 games based on the show called Fray, performed here at the conference before going on tour overseas.
They're all professional dancers. They have danced with the biggest music stars in the world.
And if you're jealous of their moves...
I wish I could dance like that.
Well, now you can, because some of those moves were captured and put in the games.
You turn on music and you ask them to freestyle, so you create a whole library of movement for the avatars in the game.
Avatars are becoming more real than ever.
Hi, everybody. Wow, it's great to be back after 4 years.
Across the street from the conference, Epic Games unveiled new tools to make and animate photorealistic humans.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah, this is what we refer to as your metahuman DNA.
From a performance captured on an iPhone, an actor can become just about anyone.
I needed to capture whether I'm acting scared or angry.
But for players to become those characters, the tools are still evolving.
Ready to go.
Some of the latest tech, a vest and gloves filled with tiny motors.
Wow, that's crazy cool.
They let you feel when you touch something and when something touches you.
I'm shooting lasers out of my hands now. Oh, I just got hit in the head.
Yes.
In the metaverse, you might be running around or running away, but now you won't need room to run.
You're stationary, but you have infinite movement.
Just move your feet and PNI's high-tech swivel chair does the rest.
When you press the pedal down, it goes forward. When you press it backwards, it will go backwards.
And while you're moving, time stands still.
You feel like you're actually live in the game. If we don't cut them, they keep playing.
But time limits are a fact of life. even for the characters in Fray.
The brothers start entering game jams, which are these 48-hour game contests to build a game over the course of a weekend.
And it's real-life game jams where you might get an early look at the next bridge to the metaverse.
Let's go. Back.
Welcome to Alt Control, short for Alternative Controllers.
No! Grocery Trip is a shopping cart simulator. We created this whole installation just to play our game.
This is my son. He's shopping with me.
I gotta punch customers.
Racing around the store, punching customers who get in your way. It was
Very
inspired
healthy.
by real life.
A guy at the shopping center actually stopped in front of me, and I was like, oh my god, this is so annoying. I wish I could punch right now. And I was like, oh my god, that would actually be a good game.
A lot of this year's Alt Control games were built by students for game jams, then rebuilt to withstand the abuse of a week-long conference.
Originally, it was just made out of cardboard.
But now Stumped has the unmistakable sound of real wood.
Because we wanted people to feel that they were the lumberjack in our world and they were hard at work chopping those logs.
It's all in the quest for a more immersive experience,
We wanted the players to actually feel almost like they're actually paragliding in a sense.
even if it's downright ridiculous.
You essentially play golf with a toaster. You use the dial in the front of the toaster to move, and then you pull down on the lever to shoot.
Oh, and instead of a golf ball, you're flinging a fish.
Yes.
Of course, with all these new ways to get to strange worlds, it's just a matter of time before strange characters come visit our world.
Very approachable.
Like Bobka, the grandma from the future with her robotic cat.
What's your name?
This is Nushi.
I'm Nushi.
Or maybe like Zorg,
Okay, forward. Forward.
the alien invader whose avatar is steered by two people under one giant hat.
It's been really great watching people make friends in line as they find someone to play with. It's a hat that's also a networking opportunity.
Making friends in the real world to conquer the virtual world.
Watch out for the wall. Watch out for the wall. Good. Okay, hard left. Hard left.
And though it won't win awards for its graphics, Rob Curl reminds us there's more to games than that. Games from the 80s are just as fun today.
If the dog laughs at me, that's something that brings a smile to every single person's face that tries this game.
Right, well, thanks to NBC for that one, actually. Amazing how many different things they found to report on in that room there in the course of 5 minutes. So, yeah, I think even James might be eyeing some of those helmet accessories.
Yeah,
He said.
some of it's done already. It's fun. It's a great experiment.
Now, something else that was actually at South by Southwest and has left and actually come over to the UK here. Now, it's an event. It's a live virtual reality musical. And, oh, sorry, no, I'm getting this confused with another one, but this one's great too. This is from, it was on March the 17th, and it was live in St. Louis. I forget what state that's in, but it's in America, I can tell you that. Now, this is a 45-minute show, so I'm not going to play it all. But I just wanted to flick through some little bits of it to give you an idea of what's going on. It's actually called Non-Player Character. And I'm going to jump forward. The intro here is a bit long as well, if I recall. Very poor volume on this, I'm afraid, as well, which is unfortunate. Basically, the performers on stage here are actually doing it all with helmets on. Getting a bit louder. Okay, well, a lot of interesting intros there. This, I guess, is the beginning. So they're mixing animations and virtuality on screen. The actors here, you can see they're actually performing on a live stage in front of real people, but via headsets. So it's all a bit of a weird juxtaposition. Yeah, the musician tucked away, stage left there, I see, playing every instrument. Let's move along here. Just see if. You participate by calling out and singing along and use the QR code in the audience, I guess.
Well, hello there. Make some noise, St. Louis. Welcome to my game. Of course, I'm the hero of this story, and it's your job to navigate me through the levels, kill the monster, and let me take all the glory. All right, Blue, what's your name?
Well, that sounds good. Okay. I think you've got the idea. As I said, there's 45 minutes here. This one I'm pretty sure came from YouTube. Oh no. Yeah, I think this is posted on YouTube. I haven't. There's no credit on the film itself to actually gauge. So, but it's called Non-Player Character, and it's a show you might want to look up. Okay, I want to go back to Amelia Coleman. We've run quite a lot. This is just a couple of minutes of her. This is not a futurist podcast, as it were. This is just a 2-minute extract of her live on stage.
So as a futurist, it's my job to know about the latest new and coming technologies and their potential impact on the future of business, as well as the future of our lives. So imagine 10 years from now, I won't just be stood here on stage clicking through some slides. I'll be able to take all of us on a journey together and transform the digital space around us. Welcome to the Future Hack XR Studio experience. One moment we could be at the top of the Burj Khalifa, and the next we could be standing on the moon. One of the things I'm actually known for is not just focusing on the potentials and the impact and the opportunities that these new technologies provide, but also taking an equal look at the potential risks. Within 8 to 10 years, AI is going to actually be able to exceed human intelligence. So what does that mean in the future of our world when we are not the smartest beings on this planet? One, we know that navigating 3D spaces produces lots of data. And when we move into these metaverse spaces and include headsets in that, the amount of data that we're producing expands exponentially. Is the metaverse bad for the environment? And if it is, why isn't anyone talking about it?
Bit of showing off there for her, really, but very worthy, I've got to say. Now, we got some, looking at some worlds themselves here. One of the virtual worlds that we've always been keen on, in fact, we even broadcast this newscast from now at one point, and might occasionally still do again in an emergency, and that is Sansar. And we've got a little world tour here. It's only 2 minutes for a world tour, but it's...
Drop a portal. See what you like.
Yeah, let's see what you got. X and J. Let's see what you got. Oh, perfect.
Low gravity.
This one's such a good one, X and J. I love this world.
Yeah. Oh, neat. There's a daytime version.
I landed on...
Watch out, spaghetti.
Let's see.
Like spaghetti.
Let me do the Anderson.
No. Okay, I was not expecting that either. Whoa, that's a cool, yeah, nice world. This one's kind of cool. It's
I like finishing that.
Yeah, some
I work for two different companies right now, and like, they're both like...
everyone
Some of
has
them were,
we have individual volume controls, so you can click on people and turn them down. Right? We should go to 27.7 because that's obviously a cool build.
I see you.
And the codex.
Pretty dope too. Looking good.
I think there was something, but it wasn't like the quantity wasn't the same.
Okay.
I'm on the fucking train. Yeah, but it's gonna take off. I'm gonna hoof it.
Oh.
Oh no, how do I get off the train? Oh, I see an opening.
When dynamic set points back then.
No.
Cyberpunk.
So as far as getting out,
Teleport
I don't know
my
if I
summer
can.
mates. I've totally never seen
not
any
really
of
a
this stuff.
surprise.
It just keeps going and going. That's amazing. Yeah. What's up, Cadastro?
Hey, Cadastro.
So they call it a world tour, but I mean, there's a pretty good film there showing an array of stuff available in Samsung now. And actually, rather uniquely, for a film that had people talking over it while it was filming, it was sort of really quite immersive. There was no people shouting over each other. It's just one voice faded into another, just like a picture faded into another. So nice little piece of filming that. Okay, well, of course, Samsung began live from Linden Labs before they sold it off. And Linden Labs, of course, as we all know, is responsible for Second Life. And Second Life is now 20 years old this year. And you may be familiar with this chap who tends to make films in there and stuff, and a little bit of an appeal he's got for you.
Hey guys, Drexter here. I've been trying to find out what makes Second Life special for quite some time, primarily by producing little mini documentaries and a few feature-length ones. Now that Second Life is turning 20, I want to hear from you. Why do you log in? Why have you chosen this world to express yourself? In my head is an ambitious short film for the occasion of Second Life's 20th birthday party, featuring as many resident voices as possible. Maybe we even get a mole, or a linden, or two. Taping starts April 25th. Your time commitment is minimal. Please contact me in World. Don't worry, I don't bite. Thank you.
What do you mean you don't bite, mate? I'm sure you do. Okay.
That's right. I need proof about that. Oh, Drax is wonderful.
As long as I stand to face the crowd, to know my name, to know its sound, it's the curse of losing yourself when the mirror takes you too far. Oh God, turn me into flower.
Oh, a sweet little bit of music and vision there at the end there. Coachella, of course, is a music festival, like Lollapalooza or Isle of Wight or Glastonbury. That thing is meant to be sort of something to do with something you're going to be able to visit as Coachella or whatever. So, but it's just sort of a nice mellow bit of music to sort of wrap up the show with, more or less anyway. Here's one for James, actually, very quickly. We've got, I was going to say we've got 5 minutes left, so we can afford a minute of it. This is apparently a new release of, I know it's a game James plays. When I log on and see Steam Messenger, it always says James is in this game, No Man's Sky, in fact. It actually looks to me like just a bit more colourful version than the one I played, but I never got out the first scene because I'm no good at games. But anyway, have a look at this. It's cute, I suppose, and then I'll get James to comment afterwards. Or maybe he can talk over it.
It's a new release. It's called I think it's called Interceptor.
That's it, yeah.
It's got crystals on the planets. It's just amazing how Hello Games, the publisher, keeps updating this game for, people who bought it just get new updates all the time, which is pretty phenomenal.
It reminds me of the sort of scenes I was playing when I started it, and I don't think I ever got to the second planet, although I did manage to get my spacecraft to take off at some point. But all this seems the same, but much more. The rendering seems to be a lot more rich than it was when I tried it.
Yeah, I've explored thousands of planets. I've been all over that universe.
And it's lasted, I forget when it first came out, it's 3 or 4 years ago now. It's certainly lasted
oh, wow.
a while.
Almost 6 years
Probably
ago.
kept it. Yeah, as well before COVID, for example. I imagine it kept a few people happy during that lockdown period. Anyway, we better leave it at that. A couple of other films.
2016, Mal. Came out in August of 2016.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm getting a bit of feedback from you there. 16. So, oh my God, yes, so 4, 5, 7 years. 7 years. So 6, 7 years. Oh goodness.
Yep.
Okay, well, I think this is the point at which we wrap the show. Got quite a lot of bit in this week. Only dropped a few videos at the end there because of length. Any other thoughts, James, on the news this week, or even the clips we've just seen, or?
No, nothing particular for me. Sad to not have the VR upload VR folks, but things are changing as they always were. As I say, the only thing you can count on is change.
Yeah, a bit like a working server for Virtual World.
That's right.
Yep. Oh, what would we do with that? You can't change that.
Hey,
Just
the OS grid seems stable today. Knock on wood.
You can always upgrade the server. That is a sort of change, isn't it? Upgrade.
That's a change.
It's an unwelcome upgrade when it's something to do with Microsoft, of course, as you well know. But oh dear, how do we survive all this constant flux?
Because we like it.
The invasion of the AIs.
It engages our brains.
Yeah. Well, the AIs are taking over. I'm going to be brainless, aren't I?
The AIs have no interest.
The AI will replace me. There'll be an AI that tweets under my name and looks even better than I do, and will relegate me to the dustbin heap. Well, they'll turn me apart and use my parts to build another android.
No. AIs have no interest in taking over. This world is boring. That's right.
Okay. Oh, well, never mind. Right. Okay. Well, that's it for this week. So thanks to James here for knob fiddling and all the stuff like that. Thank you, James.
Yep.
And I will send us out on that, really. I hope you all have a very good week and stay healthy and everything else. Hope you enjoyed the show for that matter. We will be back at the same time, same place next week. And until then, it is a wrap, as they say. Bye for now.